Hello lovely people, Kitten here. We're in a bit of a cutesy mode this month, and I've made you a little cuddly bunny on a blanket. You can make the Binkie they call them, don't they? You can make it any size you want, and you could make the bunny as just a separate ball. This was a customer request actually. Could I include something that they could make for their grandkiddies? So there you go, I do listen. If you haven't come across me before, my name is Kitten. I run the Kitten and the Goat in Kendal. We are a proper old-fashioned knitting shop, and I work with beginner knitters and break them down into very simple techniques. Follow along with the YouTube. The pattern videos like this, it's not a full pattern. If you want the full pattern, you need to be on my email list, or you can pop into the website. They sit on the website for a little while before they all go off. But if you want to join in with our bunny this month, not doing one every week, I tell you, not new. Here follows the instructions.
Down a little alley in the heart of Kendal town is a tiny independent yarn shop. Welcome to the wonderful world of the Kitten and the Goat.
The actual Binkie part I've done in moss stitch. Moss stitch is also called seed stitch in America. Moss stitch you get quite a thick, strong, hefty fabric finish with it. It's knit one, purl one, the same as rib, except you're putting the shapes in different places. I've also written it as a one row pattern, so every row is exactly the same. It doesn't matter where you pick it up and put it down, every row is the same. And I've given you a little trick on the edges to keep them nice and square. Okay, so we slip the first stitch. We're going to knit and purl, knit and purl. Now the thing that makes this different to the rib is the order that you put the bobbles in. Remember how we talked about creating the stitch, if it's a knit or purl, puts the little bump, in a different place. Can we get close? See how you've got a flat bit and a bump. The bump is where you've pulled the stitch forward. So if you were working a rib, you would purl that and pull the stitch forward to keep the bumps together, but we're not. We're going to work a knit stitch, put the bump at the back, so you get this checkerboard effect of flat and bump. There's the bump, there's the bump, there's the flat. And then for the next one, where it's flat, bring the yarn forward, work your purl to put the bump over the top, and you get your checkerboard effect. The slip at the front and the single purl stitch at the end keep your edges square and neat. As I say, every row is the same, so you don't have to worry about thinking about it. You can just pick it up and start. The only time you'll really have to pay attention is if you put it down in the middle of a row. You'll need to look at that and say, oh, that's a flat, so I've got to be able to bring that to the front. That's a purl, so I need to knit on that. And you just keep going till you're roughly square. I've given you two different sizes if you want a bigger one or a smaller one. Just keep going till you're roughly square and cast off. Cast off fairly loosely so you don't get a gathered edge when you're casting off. And that is the Binkie square for your bunny blankie. Here's a quick little way to see if you've knitted square. With the Binkie part, it really doesn't matter if it's exactly square. You fold it down one side and pull along. You can roughly measure. Yeah, I might do a couple more rows. I'll do one more row and cast off, and that'll give you a square. Okay, that's a quick little trick for you. Right, let's get cast on for this little bunny's head. Loop round, put the ball end through. So you've got your tail end, you've got your ball end. Just pull it gently so that it sits on the needle. Now we are going to cast on 6. Oh, come here. Let's turn that round. That's better. That's it. 2. Straight the way through. Round. 3. This is called an Aran cast on, a hard cast on. It's what I always teach beginners to start them off. It's a good, solid, dependable cast on without the faff. It will do you for the vast majority of projects you do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Don't cast on too tightly because we've got to go back and knit into the front and knit into the back to start the increase shaping for the bunny head. You will find the bunny's head is it's not round, it's not flat, it's kind of shaped. So you've got a flat bit at the front for his face and roundy bits at the side. It'll make sense once you start counting. So there we go, that's the start. Front, back, front, back. From there, I'm going to purl. I'm going to knit into the front and the back of every stitch again, purl, and then front and back of every stitch and again to suddenly grow your bunny head. And then you will find that you've got a piece, an increase, a piece, an increase, and then a bit at the end. It's not equally spaced like we've done before. It's a little bit more for you to practice your shaping. So just follow your pattern. If you're not on the email list and you haven't got your pattern, it does stay on the website for some little while. If you come back in a year or so, it won't be there. But if you come back sort of 6 months, it'll probably still be there. Go onto the website, go into the free knitting resources and get your pattern, because I'm not going to give you all the exact. These videos are just to show you all the techniques and not to give you the exact pattern. So do your increase, and then start your shaping. And apart from that, it's very straightforward. Let's go work your bunny. So we're going to work Bunny's little face. If you have a look at the top of the head, the way the pattern is written, you will find it increases in segments, and then there's a gap bit. That gap bit is his face. That's the front. So I've put a couple of pins in kind of where I want the eyes to be, and I'm starting with the nose. And all I'm going to do is, there is a recognised technique called, I think it's teddy bear nose, where you make a V and you fill in the gap. this is, it's just stranded cotton. For babies, for youngsters, I think it's better to have the face embroidered, and then they can't chew it, because they're absolute monkeys, aren't they, for chewing everything. So you just fill in the gap, so you get a dinky little nose. There we go. For his mouth, you want to come down a little bit, and then you can either take your stitches up at an angle for a little happy face, or you can take them down for a little puzzled face. It's entirely up to you. And then I'll go back and put the eyes in, now that I know where to put them, because that's the centre. Now I know I've got some guide as to where to put the rest of his face. So we've got a little face. And the ears, again, for safety reasons, I've chosen to graft these on. Now that might sound big and scary, but it's not, I promise. Where are we going to put these ears? These ear ears. These ear ears. We're going to put them there. Oh, you can put them wherever you like, you know, if you. And you can also make them any size you like. I like long floppy ears. My preference, a bit entangled up. So you take your ball of yarn and your tail. What you are going to do is, we're putting it here. You're going to put the needle through the stitches like that. We're going to loop round, and we're going to pull it through. Any of you that crochet, you'll know this technique because it's very commonly used in crochet. If you're comfortable with a crochet hook and you prefer to do it with a crochet hook, do it that way. So let's get a bit of a shape to our ear. We want a bit in front, and then we want to go back a bit, I think. It's fiddly, won't deny that. But there's no sewing on afterwards, and it makes a much more solid, secure joint for your ears, because, you know, they're only little, aren't they? Squidgy little ears. Oops, so it's a bit of a fiddle, a bit of a faff and a fiddle. I actually like grafting, I do, it doesn't bother me. Just whenever you're comfortable. Does that look about right? Watch this bit, because this bit is loose. If it worries you, you can sew it in now and make it secure. Now I'm going to grow my ear a little bit. I'm going to go front, back, into the first, the middle, and the last. I'm going to make this an all knitted ear, just for a bit of texture and a bit of fun. Then I'm going to increase again, just in the front and back, and I might do it again, I haven't decided yet. I'm a bit of a bugger like that for knitting. And then I'm going to knit, and I like them long, so I'm going to put a point on the end of it. But that is grafting on, is where you do that. You come through like that. See, my little bunny ear. Now comes the bit where you want to put your binkie onto your bunny. So you want to sew a little way down the head so that you know what kind of shape where we're going with this. We've got a bit of a tail here. You can just sew it up completely and then sew it on here, but as we're thinking security, what we want to do is find the centre. I'm going to put the centre actually into the bunny head. I'm going to use the yarn to go in and out around the edge here. Then I'm going to come down, stuff it and finish it so that the actual centre of the blanket bit is inside the bunny's head, and it makes it nice and secure. It's not going to stretch and pull or come off because I've sewn all around here onto the centre here. Yeah? There's your bunny. Okay, let's get that done. That's your technique video for this month. If there's anything you don't understand, if something's not clear, please get in touch. I'll do my best. If you've got an idea that you want me to cover, shoot me an email, drop me a comment, something you want me to cover, project, stitch you want me to look at, something you want me to review. We're here to help you, so share some love, let's get some comments, let's get you knitting. It's really good for you, it's great fun.